Monday on the Comedy Broadcasting System.
Welcome back to Synergy Field. Halftime, the Jaguars up big 27-0. Gus Johnson and Brent Jones with you. When we talked to Tom Coughlin yesterday, we had him field some questions about his conservative nature on offense. Well, I think he's proving everybody wrong. They aren't conservative today.
Yeah, we don't like conservative offense here at CBS. We want them to see it aired out, and they came out here in the first half. They were very aggressive. They were throwing the ball, making some plays, getting Mark Brunell ready to go, and he made some plays to his receivers. You want them being in sync. You want the offense in sync. The defense has been their strengths thus far. You see Mark Brunell here tweak that rib injury. He has that muscle underneath his rib thrown across his body. That's not good here late in the second quarter. Taking a big shot. You don't want your all-pro quarterback taking shots. When you're ahead 27-0, there's not a whole lot of reasons to keep him in there.
Now, the Jaguars average 329 yards in offense per game. They have 278, the most illuminating stat in the first half of play.
Those are the only stats you have to see right there, Gus. Total yards, turnovers, all that leads to that score, 27-0. And it's probably not going to get a whole lot better for the Bengals here in the second half.
Jeff Blake will play quarterback for the Bengals. In the second half, Akili Smith getting x-rayed rather. He has a problem with his left toe. Excuse me, right toe. Tremaine Mack back deep. Starts from the 2. And gets to the 25. Return of 21 yards. So Jeff Blake, who was the starter at the beginning of the year, trots onto the field, supplanted by Akili Smith, their first-round draft pick. And you really like Jeff Blake.
I really do. You know, and I've seen so many plays over the years of him throwing the long ball. And you see Jacksonville has one of their
Eric Stores is down and will step away. Jeff Blake and the Cincinnati offense coming up after this.
We started this business with a green thumb, a vivid imagination,
and a lot of hard work.
But before long, I could see we needed help, financial help.
So I called American Express Small Business Services.
They helped us with equipment financing so we could keep on growing.
And with the corporate card, we finally got a handle on expenses.
1-800-SUCCESS was the best call we ever made.
With American Express, we've learned what it's like to have a partner you can count on.
And a brother.
Second quarter figures show a strong uptick in gross revenues with a corresponding increase in pre-tax profits. The market, of course, looked upon this very favorably, and the resulting surge in our stock price brings our market capitalization to within 10% of year-end projections. To elaborate on what this means for the company, I'd like to turn the floor over to our chairman.
Before you do this or this or this, you want to have this and this and this.
You'd be surprised how much of our technology goes into your day.
So for this or this or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that. Stop it!
Need brakes? Now during the Midas $40 lifetime brakes rebate, save $20 per axle or $40 for your whole car. Lifetime guaranteed $40 in savings right now. Go safely. Go Midas.
Tuesday on 60 Minutes 2. If they've invented a safer gun, one so smart it can only be fired by its owner, then why can't you buy it? Find out Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
27-0. Eric Stores shaken up on the kickoff. Walked off with help. On the sidelines now for Jacksonville, Jeff Blake in at quarterback. Starts from the 24. Here comes the blitz. Quick strike, caught. Jeff Blake out of East Carolina, as we mentioned, started the season as the starting quarterback. Akili Smith takes over for him. And now he's back in the game, played a little last week against Indianapolis.
And I was telling you, I like Jeff Blake, and I just seen him throw so many beautiful long passes. The ball just hangs up there, lets his receivers run under it. And he's a guy that if he's not with the Bengals next year, he's going to be a top quarterback for somebody.
In the final year of his contract with Cincinnati. Second down, 8 from the 26th. Toss. Corey Dillon trying to cut it back, and Dillon tripped up and stumbles ahead to the 25. Gary Walker, a big acquisition for this Jacksonville team, came over from the Tennessee Oilers, now the Titans. He has 5 sacks on the season playing left tackle.
And they thought he was going to be a great run stopper, and he's got 5 sacks, like you said. And you got to give credit to Tom Coughlin, because it's addition by subtraction. You add to your team, and you hurt a division rival. The Tennessee Titans took one of their best defensive players away.
3rd down and 8 from the 26-yard line. Blake lines up in the shotgun. 4-receiver package. Yeast in motion. Carnell Lake blitzes from the corner. Jeff Blake. It's caught. And a 1st down for Cincinnati. Fernando Bryant with the tackle, a 9-yard gain. Darnay Scott with the reception.
We haven't heard a lot about the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver tandem of Carl Pickens and Darnay Scott today. There's Darnay coming back for the ball, getting the 1st down. Jeff Blake putting it right on the money.
Bengals get a 1st down from their own 35. Dillon breaks it outside, dragged down from behind. At the 39-yard line, Donovan Darius with the tackle. Now here's a surprise statistic for you. When you look around the NFL and you point out the top receiving tandems in the league, they're led by Chris Carter and Randy Moss, but right behind them, Darnay Scott and Carl Pickens.
And how about Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell? We got 4 of the best in the game today. Just a couple of them have been silent on the Cincinnati side, and those guys are getting anxious. I know them. They're not going to be patient much longer.
There's Darnay. No room in the middle of the line. Larry Smith making the hit. Corey Dillon with the carry.
And this is the thing that Bruce Kozlik talked about, that 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. That's not the type of situation you want. Bring in a couple of extra defensive backs on the defensive side of things, and puts a lot of pressure on your receivers to get open. You can double one of the greatest tandems in the game today and go ahead and take your chances singling up the other guys. Puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback to get that 1st down throw.
Dillon hadn't done a lot today. 9 carries, 19 yards. Jeff Blake steps up, dumps it off. Nice reception. Bass Knight all the way down the field. Bass Knight rumbling to the 31. Great job by Blake, but he gets up gimpy. A 33-yard pickup. But you can be sure he will not come out of this game.
And those are the things that you have to do when you get double coverage outside. You have to drop it off underneath. You're going to see Bass Knight 38 come up, pretend to block. Actually, he doesn't pretend, he blocks. Gets the blitz and then just checks out into the flat. Defensive backs are downfield deep covering the receivers, and there's nobody there to cover them.
Blake.
You see Blake step up right here. Just get rolled up on.
They hand it off, and Brackens all over the play. Tony Brackens, who has been plagued by injuries the last few years. Last year, an ankle, a shoulder, a knee. And here's Blake on the last play.
He's just going to step up and get rid of that ball and just gets his ankle and then gets rolled up. Now, those things hurt for a minute, but you bounce back downfield, make another completion, and it's not that sore till after the game.
The Synergy Field turf doesn't help. They will be moving into a new facility next year. 2nd down and 11 from the 31. Play action. Blake dumps it off. Great catch. Gross. Cliff Gross, the fullback, pounds ahead of the 22. Great recognition right now by Jeff Blake.
Jeff Blake's getting rid of that ball right now, and that's what 8 years of experience will do for you. You feel the blitz and you throw the ball right now, even before your receiver, Cliff Gross, is even looking for the ball. You can see he throws it. Gross hasn't even turned around yet. Gets that one hand up. Nice little move for the big fullback. Then he gets low and starts pounding the ball.
3rd down and 2 from the 22. First offensive possession for the Bengals here in the 2nd half of play, and somebody on the right side moves.
And I think it's Battaglia, number 89, the tight end.
89 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Just picked up his hand, and that's it. Because when you're losing, when you're 1-6, it's the little things that become so important. You got a 3rd and 2, you're right there. You have a guy pick up his hand and miss the count, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 7, and those are so much tougher to convert.
And the passing today from Bengals quarterbacks, Jeff Blake already 4 of 4, 53 yards. And this is his first opportunity this drive.
And he's just been hitting those little check routes, and that's gotten some big yards for him.
Empty backfield, high snap. Blake sneaks it, looking for the first down, has it, and he slides down at the 15.
You know, I'm impressed with Jeff Blake's recognition. He's recognizing things right now. He saw that there was some blitz, there was a hole up in the middle, and you're going to see the snap. That's the 3rd high snap today. Nice athletic move, just even grabbing it down with one hand and getting up there, feeling that hole, and sliding in for the first down.
Bengals marching it down the field at the Jacksonville 17. Over 6 minutes. And Blake calls a timeout. 8:20 to go, 3rd quarter.
Dodge Ram's payload and towing capabilities are the stuff of legend. But there's a load more. Ram introduced the world's first quad cab. Ram's available Magnum V10 is the largest and most powerful V10 in a full-size pickup.
In depth only on NFL.com. Tenth play of the drive for the Bengals that started at their own 24. They've had it for close to 7 minutes. Out of the offset eye. Dillon, the deep back. Blake steps up. Batted down. James Roberson, 4th-year man out of Florida State, got his hand on the football.
There's some great coverage in the secondary. Made Jeff Blake hold on to the ball too long. You see him set his feet and step up. He's got to throw it right now. There's nobody open.
Kevin Hardy applying the pressure on Jeff Blake. Makes it 2nd down and 10 from the 17. They still have a chance for 1st. At the 7-yard line. Pickens splits out wide to the far side. Draw play. Dillon. And Dillon forges ahead and gets to the 12. Tony Brackens with the tackle. And the offense for the Bengals inside the red zone. 21 possessions, 9 touchdowns, 6 field goals.
And Bruce Kozlov has told us it's not about yards, it's about touchdowns. It's not about field goals, it's about touchdowns. And he, prior to Akili Smith coming out today, he said Jeff Blake was going to be the quarterback for the goal line package, probably inside the 7 or 8. So Jeff Blake has worked in this area this week, got a couple extra snaps, so he's familiar with what's going on out there.
3rd down and 5 from the 12. They need to get to the 7 for a 1st. 6 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Blake, pump fake, in the end zone, broken up. Great looking play by the rookie, Fernando Bryant, who has yet to give up a touchdown pass this year.
And Fernando Bryant's not just covering a player, he's covering Darnay Scott out there, who's been setting the league on fire this year. You see Blake throw the ball, and he closes on that ball. Scott's coming back for it, but watch Bryant come back and charge, get his hand right in there. That's great defense by Bryant.
Doug Pelfrey in to attempt a 29-yarder. And it's good. Bengals get on the board. 29-yard field goal. 27-3 they trail.
There is no horseman. There never was a horseman. There never will be a horseman.
Looks like we're going to get a new quarterback in for Jacksonville. Mark Brunell's day is over. Jay Fiedler getting ready to come into the game. 4th-year man out of Dartmouth. Reggie Barlow from the 6. Up to the 31-yard line. Return of 22. Coming up, the Ivy Leaguer.
Hello? Server? Got it.
total participation, and this means everyone, all working to make sure you get the absolute best experience possible.
Mr. Thurber, you're all set.
Introducing 5-Star, a new approach to selling and servicing cars and trucks. And it's better. We'll prove it. Only where you see these signs.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow.
Is it me, guys? Or do we really look ridiculous?
Man, for free Bud Light, I'm doing 70s night.
Right on, brother.
Shut the door! You're letting in a draft!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
One of these people has a shocking secret.
You know?
You know?
Does everybody know?
Find out who.
They do now!
On an all-new Becker, CBS Monday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nike and by Dodge. Do not follow, do not conform, be different.
Well, the good news for the Bengals, Elvis hasn't left the building yet.
You're getting too comfortable in the air. Just a veteran. Draw play, Fred Taylor. Over the 30 up to the 33-yard line. Jay Fiedler, the new quarterback for Jacksonville, 4th year, first 2 seasons spent with Philadelphia, last year with Minnesota. And he came in 2 weeks ago against Cleveland, put up some nice numbers. Tom Coughlin had nothing but good news when we talked to him about this young quarterback.
Went on and on about Jay Fiedler and actually talked about him being a great competitor, throwing with pinpoint accuracy. That's pretty accurate if you ask me.
Also said he wasn't impressed with him right away during training camp. But he came on. Fiedler, draw play, Jimmy Smith. Gets up to midfield. Gain of 16.
And that was pinpoint accuracy. And here's the previous play. Let's watch Fred Taylor. Steps on over for the draw play. He's getting ready to hit it up there. And he stops. And, you know, he's coming back from a hamstring. And he might have tweaked it right there because Fred Taylor hits that hole and he hits it hard. And he pulls up. And he's out of the game right now. And he might have re-injured that hamstring.
James Stewart. And Stewart roughed up by Javon Langford. Taylor's put up some great numbers today. 15 carries, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. 7th career 100-yard game. He's only in his 2nd year out of Florida. And prior to the beginning of the season, they were talking about possibly a 2,000-yard season for this man.
Yeah, and I know he was frustrated when he hurt that hamstring, but this whole offense changes with Fred Taylor in there. There's so many weapons. You can't commit your double coverage, your safeties to the wide receivers. You got to get them up to stop Fred.
The hitch pattern to Jimmy Smith. Nice start and stop, gets the first down. Roosevelt Blackman covering, gain of 7. Tonight on 60 Minutes, good grief. Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, and Snoopy on 60 Minutes. When? Tonight, when Steve Croft draws a profile of the man who draws them. 60 Minutes tonight.
The great Charles Schulz.
From the 39. Fiedler dances and is sacked. Myron Bell with the pressure. 2nd sack of the day for Cincinnati.
Now you got to give Myron Bell credit because he comes in full speed the first time and Jay Fiedler eludes him. He gets out of the way. Bell stays with it. Fiedler's got to get rid of that ball. Throw it. Once you're out of the pocket, you can throw it out of bounds. It won't be grounding once you're out of the pocket. Jay Fiedler takes a shot.
Myron Bell, 6th year out of Michigan State. 2nd down and a long 20 from the 49. Screen. Stewart. Brian Simmons, the linebacker, smelled it and stopped it. Scores from around the league. Kansas City throttling San Diego.
Watch Brian Simmons. He reads screen right now. You can see him going across your screen. He almost catches the ball. He's all over James Stewart. And it's just so rare in this league to have a young linebacker, a guy that's in his 2nd year, just be able to read so well. Both Simmons and Takeo Spikes really make some things happen out there for the Bengals. It's been tough today, but they've been the strength of this defense.
3rd down and 22 from the 49. They need to get to the Cincinnati 30 for 1st down. Draw play, Tavian Banks. And Banks tripped up by Van Olhoffen. And here comes the punt team. Fred Taylor taking it easy. And here comes Brian Barker. Ready to punt from Santa Clara.
There you go.
As a matter of fact, he was your teammate in college.
And you got to get, what a great guy. And he's done a great job. Self-made guy, tried out with 6 or 7 teams before hooking up in the league and bounced around a few teams. And one of the top punters in the National Football League now.
Bad snap, picked up by Barker. Wobbly kick. And it takes a Jacksonville bounce, gets inside the 10-yard line.
That was all Santa Clara right there, baby.
2:22 to go, 3rd quarter of play. Jacksonville up 27-3.
This is Propecia, a pill that might interest you. Talk to your doctor. And call 1-888-5-MERC-9 to see if you're eligible for a $10 rebate certificate. Propecia. There's no reason to wait. We started this business with a green thumb, a vivid imagination,
And a lot of hard work.
but before long, I could see we needed help, financial help.
So I called American Express Small Business Services.
They helped us with equipment financing so we could keep on growing.
And with the corporate card, we finally got a handle on expenses.
1-800-SUCCESS was the best call we ever made.
With American Express, we've learned what it's like to have a partner you can count on.
And a brother.
Frankenstein in attendance here in Cincinnati, and Jacksonville leading it 27-3. Cincinnati takes over from their own 8-yard line. Here comes a blitz. Kevin Hardy chases down the play, fumble. Picked up, Fernando Bryant. And Bryant has the ball inside the 5. 1st down, Jacksonville.
And it looks like Kevin Hardy, 51, coming in right now, almost at the point of the handoff and just ripping, gashing and ripping that ball out of the Corey Dillon's hand before his knee touched the ground. Tony McGee, the tight end, trying to get back in on that ball, but it's too late. Fernando Bryant, the rookie, is on the spot. And Kevin Hardy, that's some great pursuit. He almost took the handoff.
Mike Brown on the left, the president of the Bengals. He is also under fire because some feel that the organization has not been giving a total effort in terms of putting a winner on the field. Bengals are 1-6. Stewart. Out of bounds at the 1.
Well, this Bengals team has way too much talent to be 1-6. And with them getting the new stadium next year, the Bengals and Mike Brown's free pass is going to be gone, because they're going to have luxury box money. That's what you do with the new stadium. You get luxury box money, and you go out and you aggressively recruit free agents. And being the Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to have to probably pay a little bit more, maybe another extra $1 million or $2 million. But you have to go out, shore up some of those holes, because they've got some talent on this team.
Touchdown, Jacksonville. Stewart.
When we talked earlier, you're going to see James Stewart The Jacksonville offensive line just has too big a body. You see Kyle Brady getting in there, taking 2 guys out. Stewart just falls forward.
5 carries, 13 yards. They are you see both running backs, Stewart and Fred Taylor, and Mike Hollison to attempt the extra point. Good. 1:41 to go, third quarter of play, 34-3, Jacksonville. Next Saturday on the Home Depot College football, in the SEC, Vanderbilt goes into the swamp for a battle with the Florida Gators. And in the Big East, Michael Vick and the unbeaten Virginia Tech Hokies take on West Virginia. Check local listings, beginning with Timmy B, Tim Brando, and Spencer Tillman on Volkswagen College Football Today. I remember as a kid watching Spencer Tillman dive in from the 5-yard line when he was playing for Oklahoma. And I'm sure that there are a lot of kids that remember this man, Fred Taylor, when he was with Florida doing similar things on the field. And Taylor taking it easy on the sidelines right now. He's cramping up in that hamstring area.
And that's fortunate that he didn't pull that hamstring re-injury. These cramps are coming up because he's missed a couple of games. It's warm, 75 degrees today. Nobody expected it to be that warm, and it's a good time to take Fred Taylor out of the game.
Lindsey sends it away. Mack. Over the 30 to the 33. 25-yard return for Tremaine Mack. He gets up wobbly. Akili Smith, this is what happened to him, we think. He injured his toe and has not been back in the game since halftime. X-rays have been called negative for Smith. Jeff Blake assumed the helm in the third quarter. He's 4 of 6 for 53 yards. Starts from his own 33. Play action, Blake. Over the middle, incomplete. Tony McKee, the intended receiver. Let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, you want to see Mike Ditka get upset. How about if his Saints lose to the Browns, giving the expansion team their first win? Cleveland, in fact, has taken the lead here on the touchdown pass to Kevin Johnson, third quarter, and the Browns are in front. Let's go back to Gus and Brett.
How about those Brownies?
Not bad.
We had them last week, and they looked terrible, but their offense was starting to come around a little bit. We said, both you and I agreed, in this next 2 games, they had a chance to win one.
Baltimore next week. Blake dumps it off. Nick Williams, and Williams to midfield.
Nick
14-yard gain for Nick Williams.
Nick Williams getting the ball in the flat, and this Cincinnati offense has been dink and dunk. Jacksonville playing a lot of 2-deep coverage, taking away those wide receivers. Cincinnati has to have the patience to throw the ball underneath, but when you're behind 34-3, it's tough to have patience to do anything other than take shots deep.
Kevin Hardy comes on the blitz, picked up nicely by Williams. Corey Dillon bounces it outside, spinning, and struggles ahead to the 45-yard line. Donovan Darius with the tackle. Premiering tomorrow on CBS, there's a whole new choice in the morning when Greg Gumbel's little brother Bryant returns to morning television with Jane Clayson on The Early Show. And as part of the premiere, don't miss Bryant and the NFL Today's Jim Nantz. It's a new way to start your day. The Early Show tomorrow on CBS.
I loved growing up watching Bryant Gumbel.
Yeah.
Got a chance to meet him last year. That was a big thrill for me.
I just want to be Jim Nantz when I grow up. And that takes us to the end of the quarter. The score 34-3, and we'll return to Cincinnati right after this message and a word from your local station.
Yasmin uses Don's most prized possession.
Not the Willie Mays baseball.
Back, gone!
Nash Bridges.
I wish you'd just grow up.
An all-new episode, CBS Friday.
For Jag, the address is CBS.
NFL Sunday Ticket is brought to you in part by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Let's launch it, Slim. We talked about this all week. We got to stick with the game plan. We got to run the ball. James says the max for
scoring by quarters. Mark Brunell, number 8. And the Jaguars really poured it on in the first half. 14 points in the first, 13 in the second. Cincinnati right now, though, second down and 5 at the 46. Play fake. Blake got it away, incomplete. Intended for Nick Williams. Seems like, though, every time Blake drops back to pass, Brett, there's a couple of white jerseys in his face, not just one.
And that's really been the mark of the Jacksonville Jaguars defense this year. They've gotten a lot of pressure, coming with a lot of blitz, and that's really changed the scope of this team. They'd really been the weak link in years past. In Carnell Lake, we talked earlier about Gary Walker coming over and depleting a team within your division. Taking Carnell Lake from the Steelers has really stabilized his secondary. So you've heard 2 division opponents, and you really got to credit Tom Coughlin.
Third down, 5 from the 46. They need to get to the 41 for a first down. Blake with time, incomplete. So this defense for the Jaguars, excellent. Number 1 in the NFL, Dom Capers. He's the man in the middle.
Yeah, it hasn't hurt to have Dom Capers on this team as well. And Carnell Lake told us he's surprised his defense hasn't played better with the type of players that they've had. And you look, they are in the 20th, 25th, 23rd, and going all the way to first. Capers' group has really made an impact this year.
And Capers Crusaders.
How about if you're the Bengals punting here? I think you got to go for it. Are you just giving up right now?
Price gets away a beauty, but into the end zone for a touchback.
You got to go for it right there. You're just saying we lose.
Opening moments of the fourth quarter of play, 34-3, Jacksonville.
Mikowski.
Hey, Coach.
You've been traded.
Really?
Turn in your playbook.
You got a case of Michelob Light for my going away party?
Not exactly. That's what we traded you for.
There's ordinary beer. Then there's the Michelob Light.
Smith is leading the league in sacks. I bet we can get 2 cases for him.
He's out of here. Beer or Michelob?
At a time when computer companies were building walls of incompatibility, one company envisioned a world without boundaries. They began by building high-powered workstations.
The anonymous fan, 34-3, that kind of tells a story of what's been happening here in Cincinnati. Who's to blame for what's going on here?
You know, I think everybody has to take some responsibility, from Mike Brown to the coaching staff to the players. You know, they got a lot of young guys on this team. It's frustrating when things don't go well and you start pointing the fingers and you lose it, but they still have too much talent. We've talked about that. Achilles Smith, the wide receivers, the young linebackers. There's too many good players for this team to be that bad.
Stewart. James Stewart picks up a bunch. Tom Coughlin told us he's really impressed with the way this young man has run the football. Out of the lineup last year because of an ACL injury, it gave Fred Taylor the opportunity to get in there and start, and he ended up rushing for 1,223 yards. So far, 6 carries, 24 yards. Fiedler, slant to Jimmy Smith, and it's caught at the 40-yard line. Stopped by Blackman. Gain of 11.
Tom Coughlin talked about the pinpoint accuracy of Jay Fiedler. So far, he's been pinpoint with his tosses and right on the numbers, and that's what you want to do as a quarterback. And it's great to be able to develop that backup quarterback. We can point to several quarterbacks this year, starting quarterbacks, that are out. And when you have a backup quarterback that can move the team, it's a huge bonus.
Washington all over Chicago, 45-0. Skins coming off that loss last week at Dallas, making it up today. Tonight on CBS, a world premiere movie event. Touched by an Angel's, Della Reese stars in a story about two outcasts who team up and give each other the strength to overcome incredible odds. The CBS Sunday movie, Anya's Bell, tonight on CBS. You know, Della Reese is from my hometown, Detroit, Michigan. Fiedler, pump fake.
Up away!
And he throws it out of bounds. Intended for Smith.
Well, pinpoint accuracy except for there, but there was some tight coverage, so it's okay. We'll let that one go. Don't want to throw an interception at this point in the game.
Jay Fiedler, a distant relative of the former Boston Pops orchestra conductor, the late Arthur Fiedler. His grandfather was Fiedler's second cousin. 4:05 right now. 3rd and 10 from the 42. They need to get to the 48. Ball knocked down, incomplete.
Brian Simmons getting in there, getting a little pressure on Jay Fiedler.
And I wonder if Arthur Fiedler's, one of his musicians, ever gave him a hit like this.
Yeah, I think that's
bang.
Little Boston pop.
Very good. Very good. Very good. You're getting better.
The game's starting to slow down for me. Like Peyton Manning keep telling me.
You're starting to trust your eyes, as Tim Cox told us last week. Yeast rather, at the 9 and out of bounds at the 18. 12:34 to go in the fourth quarter. 34-3.
We asked the tough fans of the St. Paul Saints to test the new Norelco Quadra Action Razor for 21 days.
Electric sting!
But when they tried it, they started to like this advanced new Norelco, with slots to cut the long hairs and holes that get the short stubble. They got a quick, close shave without the nicks and cuts of a blade. By the end, these fans had fans of their own. The new Quadra Action Razor. Try it for 21 days. It's guaranteed or your money back. Norelco. Put it to the test.
Come back to Cincinnati. You're looking at Synergy Field, downtown Cincinnati. 34-3 Jacksonville. Wayne Weaver, the chairman and CEO of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and what a job he's done allowing his football people to run this organization. Michael Hughes, Tom Coughlin, Blake over the middle, nice catch at the 40-yard line. Marco Battaglia, 21-yard gain, gaining ground in New York, Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, Gus. I'm going to show you something that's hard to believe. Derek Thomas picks off this pass. Jim Harbaugh, San Diego, just pitiful today offensively. But for Thomas, the first interception of his career, as the Chiefs have held the Chargers to only 78 yards offense. Back to Gus and Brent.
Well, that's hard to believe. Derek Thomas, the first interception of his career.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I guess he
Never
never.
go forward pass. The quarterback was over the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Also loss of down.
And when it rains, it pours in Cincinnati.
Cancels the game. Makes it 2nd and 15 from the 14.
As a quarterback, you got to know where that line of scrimmage is.
And speaking of Kansas City, let's take a look at the AFC West. Gunther Cunningham replaced Marty Schottenheimer as the head coach, and they are doing pretty well this year. 4-2 on their way to 5-2. San Diego at 4-2. They will drop to 4-3. Seattle, Mike Holmgren's team, playing Monday against Green Bay, a return to Green Bay. And speaking of Kansas City, they'd like an ex-Kansas City coach here. We want Schottenheimer. Here's a screen. Dillon. Flag on the play. And there's the Kansas City score, holding against Cincinnati. Interesting day in the NFL. Baltimore, Tony Banks getting his first start for Brian Billick and the Ravens. They're leading 10-3 with 44 seconds to go in the third quarter. Cleveland trying to hold on for their first win of the season. At St. Louis, they've rallied, down 21-0 early, now 21-14.
And how about Brian Billick with Tony Banks? He told us Stoney Case is in it for the long haul. Long haul turned out to be 3 or 4 weeks.
Got to win games in the National Football League.
Then as a coach, say, I really don't know what quarterback's going to play.
That's right. Short of the first down.
And so as Jacksonville's coaches decide whether to take the penalty or not, I think you make it fourth down.
72 from the offense, 10-yard penalty, still third down.
And they're going to take the penalty to keep them away from the fourth down try, but if they punted it last time, right around the 50, I don't know if you go for it on your own 29. They'll back them up. And as a defensive lineman, you say, it's time to pin my ears back and go after that quarterback.
Third down and 17. First down marker is at the 29. Blake dumps it off. Willie Jackson, a former Jaguar, with the reception. Not enough for the first down.
You know, in 1995, Willie Jackson led the Jacksonville Jaguars in receiving, 53 catches. He wanted to have a big game today. Bengals just never got it going offensively, though.
Jackson left Jacksonville because he and Coughlin didn't see eye to eye when it came to his playing time. Still a number 3 receiver here in Cincinnati. Bryce standing at the 5, and Reggie Barlow standing at the 35. Fourth punt of the day for Bryce. Wobbly kick short. Barlow from the 45, flag on the play. And Barlow runs into one of his teammates. 35-yard punt, 7-yard return.
Ineligible member of the kicking team, downfield, number 31. Penalty is declined. First down.
Greg Myers got down the field too quickly. Back to Cincinnati after this.
In the name of progress, man has given up more and more control to the machines of his own creation. Perhaps it is time to take some of it back. The thoroughly exhilarating TL with 5-speed sequential sport shift from Acura.
Hey man, how come every time I call you, you're on the phone? Who are you talking to?
My friends, family. I call them a lot since I don't get to see them that much.
Phone bills must be killing you.
Not at all. I dial 10-10-321. It's only 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes. That's 50% off.
And when you're talking with family and friends, you just know you're going to be on for a while.
Sounds good. My wife's on the phone all the time with her sister. Hey man, am I ever going to get to shoot?
Not when you're playing against me.
A bachelor's guide to avoiding marriage.
There, but for the grace of God go I.
Pour on the charm.
You win.
Was that a proposal?
Make her feel special.
Yes or no?
And run.
The first 10 years of marriage fly by like no time at all.
Really?
No. The Bachelor, rated PG-13, starts Friday. CBS takes you back to a time when the cars were hotter, the love was sweeter,
Drove me home.
and the music rocked the world. Shake, rattle, and roll. CBS next Sunday.
Coming up on the American General post-game show, Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights and recap all of today's action in the NFL. That's all coming up on the American General post-game show.
False start, 66 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Bob Petrino, the quarterback's coach. Now, we told you that Tom Coughlin is the offensive coordinator. Couldn't get the coordinator that he really wanted during the offseason when Chris Palmer left to go to Cleveland. So he handpicked that young man to serve as kind of a backup until he develops and will eventually become the offensive coordinator here in Jacksonville. Bob Petrino was at Louisville, and he had a pretty nice quarterback down there, kid by the name of Chris Redmond, who some feel may be one of the top selections in the draft coming up.
Offensive coordinator in training. Tom Coughlin, we talked to him about calling his own plays. He says, that way I can control the game when I'm calling the plays. I've got big enough shoulders. I can take the pressure. And I enjoyed meeting with Tom Coughlin yesterday. He wasn't afraid to talk about being too conservative or anything else that we posed to him.
He was Doug Flutie's offensive coordinator at Boston College. Fiedler caught by Jimmy Smith, and the reception is good at the 40-yard line. 12-yard gain. 34-0 Kansas City now. And Baltimore holding on. Cleveland holding on. They still have a fourth quarter to play, though, in New Orleans. Tennessee and St. Louis in the third. Good game so far.
You think Mike Ditka does something crazy if they lose to the Browns?
I hope not. McCardell in motion. Hitch pass. Smith. Stiff arm down the sidelines. Big play. To the 20. Making the 17.
Watch the strength of Jimmy Smith catching the hitch route right here, using the stiff arm, getting up into the face. Roosevelt Blackman and getting by him. That's a lot of strength for a wide receiver. He's got the speed to take off down the sideline. And it's tough.
Injured player on the field. I believe it's Roosevelt Blackman. Starting left corner. Back to Cincinnati in a moment.
Join Club Ramada now, and every cool dip in our pool, every chilled drink on our menu, every cozy night in our rooms will be even more rewarding. Club Ramada is free to join, and every dollar you spend will take you closer to great rewards like free nights, free flights, and free fun stuff for the whole family. Join Club Ramada, and earning great rewards will be easier than ever. For reservations, call 1-800-2-RAMADA or at ramada.com on the internet.
This is my daddy. He's a Gemini man. He fixes cars. He can fix anything. People like my dad. He says it's because they trust him.
Gemini Automotive Care, only where you see this sign.
As you might expect, Teller and I don't see eye to eye on investing. I like to avoid risk. Teller's a little more daring. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing Power Street by Fidelity, the first site with trading tools customized by Lycos to fit your life, your goals, your unique way of doing things.
Look, the market's up. Or, in your case, down.
Power Street Online Trading. Call or visit Fidelity.com to open an account.
At Enterprise Rent-A-Car, when you call us, we don't just pick up the phone. We pick you up.
Your car right here.
This is great.
Thank you.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Good grief. Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, and Snoopy on 60 Minutes? When? Tonight, when Steve Kroft draws a profile of the man who draws them.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Goodyear, #1 in tires, and by Ramada.
Roosevelt Blackman taken off the field, second-year man out of Morris Brown, injured his knee. And he is being taken into the locker room. First down now from the 17.
The lead right here,
The pitch, Davian Banks. No. The injury to Roosevelt Blackman. What happened here, Brent?
You see Corey Hall, his own guy, just roll up right on top of his knee. And speaking of injuries, Gus, Tony Baselli's down. He is not.
Baselli knows he's hurt. Tony Baselli, regarded as the top lineman in the NFL, and he is in a lot of pain, folks.
Watch Tony Baselli right here, right side of your screen. Let's see what happens to him. Usually when there's a pileup, you get rolled up on. Got his leg up. Came down on his knee there. One more look. Let's take another look at it here.
Baselli, 71.
Yeah, he gets his ankle out of there. Looks like his ankle was underneath for a second, got clipped, but he just pulled it up.
And he walks off on his own. That's a good sign.
That's a great sign. And here's Tony Baselli right here, blocking downfield, and just gets caught his ankle right here, and he pulls it out. And it doesn't look like a very athletic move, but that might have saved him getting that ankle out of there.
Up 34-3. Why even chance having your starters in the game right now, Brent?
Well, it leaves you open for a lot of questions if there's a serious injury. Tom Coughlin's fortunate that Tony is walking off the field right now, shaking his head. And when we talked to Tom Coughlin, he said, best tackle in football. I don't even want to talk about it, hands down.
Second down, 1 from the 8-yard line. McCardell, the motion man. Here comes the blitz. Stewart may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Myron Bell with the tackle.
Myron Bell playing an aggressive safety. Big hitter. It's tough playing on a defense when you're behind this much, and you got to just go out there, do your job, play full speed every play. Myron Bell's been doing that thus far today.
Third down, 1 from the 8. Blitz again. Stewart. All the way down to the 1-inch line. Looked like a touchdown, but I believe his knee hit.
The ball has to break the plane of the goal line before his knee hits. And let's see where he goes. James Stewart, the workhorse, running right up behind Big Ben Coleman, and he is down right there. And a great call by the officials.
Injured Bengal, Javon Langford. And he is rolling up his knee pad.
Tough day all around for the Bengals today. Few injuries, get blown out at home, frustration, and that's what happens when you're 1-6. And There's been a little finger pointing the last couple of weeks. And it doesn't stop when you keep losing.
So Langford and the entire Cincinnati defense still on the field. Jacksonville threatening once again. Here comes Langford getting upright. Meanwhile, let's take a trip around the NFL. Kansas City up big on San Diego. And Langford limping off the field. Buffalo could lose their third in a row against Baltimore. New Orleans trailing Cleveland at home. And Tennessee has added some more points. Aldo Greco with a 27-yard field goal. Washington demoralizing Chicago. And the Giants are trying to come back. Down 7. First down, goal to go from the 1-inch line for Jacksonville. Double tight ends. Brady in motion. Fiedler leans forward. Does not get in.
Trying to get Jay Fiedler in there for a touchdown. Bengals linebackers stacked up those inside gaps right now. Jay Fiedler didn't go anywhere. And it gets ugly down there. And you got to jump up and get in there right now. There's all kinds of spitting, screaming, yelling, biting, pinching going on right there. I guarantee you they're twisting his arm and pinching his leg down there in the pile. When you get a chance to take it, I guarantee you, ever been in there in a pile? The referees can't see.
That would be illegal.
Would be unseen.
Second down goal from the 1. Touchdown. Stewart going over the top. Second touchdown of the game for James Stewart.
Just telling Jay Fiedler, you just got to get some air, big guy. James Stewart, the acrobatic one, getting up, getting a little help from the Bengals defense, come over the top of their helmets. That'll look good on the highlight film.
So James Stewart, 10 carries, 26 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Hollis in to attempt the extra point, and it is good. 6:37 to go, fourth quarter of play, and Jacksonville leads it 41-3. The scoring drive, 8 plays, 47 yards. They held the ball for close to 4 minutes.
And the key on a leap is you've got to get up and get air early so they don't stop your forward progress. And he goes right over the top of the shoulders and helmets of everybody. Gets a little body spin going, horizontal body spin. It's a new technique. James Stewart, the workhorse, but you see, he gets up early, and the pile lets him go over. You get up on top of guys, and that's why so many times you see defensive players and linebackers running and jumping because they want to get higher than the guy jumping gets. There was no jumping from the Bengals linebackers that time, and James Stewart getting up and over.
Jacksonville trying to go 6-1 for the first time in the franchise's history. They have started 5-1 3 consecutive years. Steve Lindsay kicking it away. Tremaine Mack. He brings it out. And Mack up to the 20, make it the 21. And don't forget, next Sunday, doubleheader action here on CBS. Some of you will see Kansas City at Indianapolis, or Buffalo at Washington, or this Jacksonville Jaguars team at Atlanta. Then at 4:15, it's Pittsburgh at San Francisco. The NFL today gets it kicked off at noon Eastern time here on CBS. Bengals take over at their own 21. Jeff Blake. Incomplete, intended for Carl Pickens. Dave Thomas covering. Next Sunday on CBS, there were a couple of kids who wanted to start a band, but they wound up starting a revolution. It's the music that rocked the world. Don't miss the biggest musical miniseries event ever, Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Next Sunday on CBS. Second down, 10. And Jeff Blake dumps it. Tony Baselli with a sprained ankle, sprained right ankle. He's on the bench.
And you know it's a sprain just by his body language, a little smile there, a little smirk, and if it was anything more than that, his head would be down and there'd be some frustration.
And they always talk about him being the best offensive lineman in the NFL. What makes him so good?
Well, he gives up no sacks, and he dominates versus the run. He pushes guys downfield. He's got quick feet for a huge man.
Third down, 10. Blake, double clutch. First down, Pickens with the catch. Gain of 12.
And for the Bengals, you need to be calling more of Carl Pickens' name throughout the game. You just can't go into a game and get him the ball twice, 3 times. He's got to get the ball in his hands 7, 8, 9 times a game. Same with Darnay Scott. Has been tough with this offensive line. They haven't given the quarterback great protection this year. They're getting a lot of double coverage out there, but you've got to design some plays, move the receivers, put them in motion, get some different things going to get these guys the ball.
2 catches, 31 yards for Pickens. Corey Dillon. So the Jaguars will improve to 6-1, their best start ever. And a look at their upcoming schedule.
And we talked to them, and they're a little sensitive about how easy their schedule is. They didn't like hearing that because it's tough to win in this league. But those are all games where they should be favored, and favored by a pretty decent deal. And it's one of those fortunate schedule things where they should be the team here, unless an unforeseen big injury or a collapse. They should be the team that has the home field advantage in the AFC. And it's going to really come down to those battles with Tennessee.
2nd and 7. Play action. Blake going for the home run. Down the field. Too much air under this one. Knocked away. He threw that ball about, what, 75 yards, Brent?
You know, I was just looking at where that ball ended up and where he started from. That was a huge rainbow. And Darnay Scott has to slow down and wait through it for it. Just took him a little bit too long to throw it, but it did go about 72 yards. And that is a heave from Jeff Blake. I told you he throws pretty passes. Just had to throw that one a little earlier.
Blake, 8 of 16, 96 yards. Dumps it off, incomplete. Tilsky also being taken off the field. Rich Tilsky, the starting right guard. The standings in the AFC Central. Jacksonville and Tennessee on top. Jacksonville will win this game. Tennessee was leading St. Louis, the only undefeated team in the NFL, at 6-0. Pittsburgh, Baltimore trying to hold on against Buffalo today.
It'd be huge if Baltimore could get back to 3-4, but that division is going to shake down between Tennessee and Jacksonville. Tennessee has a much tougher schedule down the stretch than the Jaguars do.
The only loss this season coming from Tennessee for this Jacksonville team. Blake. And that was 4th down. Flags, though, in the backfield. Bankston picks it up himself.
They were killing Joel Smangy down there. Not only were they holding
him. 60 offense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
They held him. They tripped him. They eventually tackled him. And after the tackle, the referee finally threw the flag. Didn't matter it being 4th down, though. And you got to credit Tom Coughlin and some of the things that we talked about earlier. Taking away from your divisional opponents, making them weaker, making your team stronger. Gary Walker, Carnell Lake, Kyle Brady the big blocking tight end that made a nice grab or two today.
From the Cincinnati 36. Tavian Banks. Rich Tilson.